I showed you the library lookup demo. Let me show you briefly how it works. We've got a user with a browser. They go to Amazon. When they go to Amazon, a browser extension asks the card selector, are there any cards which are relevant to Amazon? The selector says, this one, returns an ID. That ID is sent to Kynetx, and our system processes that ID. It's associated with a rule set. And the next talk, Sam's going to show you how to build rule sets. It's associated with a rule set. That rule set is evaluated. And when that rule set is evaluated, our system turns it into JavaScript, which gets sent back down to the browser and updates the page. That's basically what's going on when that library lookup demo works. That allows us to bridge all of these silos. Because the browser extension, the browser, is seeing everywhere you go. And you can build applications that tie sites together that help users achieve purpose. So there's my contact information. I was planning on leaving right after this talk, but I think I'll stick around. I'll be here, obviously, for both days. pjw@kynetx.com, my blog is at windley.com, and I am at Windley on Twitter. One of the nice things about being having a name that isn't very popular like Windley is that I get the identifiers first, almost always. I'm Windley everywhere. No other Windley signs up for stuff as quick as I do. Questions? Steve?
Hang on.
Oh, we got to get mics. Hold on, we got to have mics.
We need mic.
By the way, while they're doing the mics, I wanted to acknowledge my wife who's sitting back there in the middle. Lynn? She put up with a lot to make this possible, so I'm grateful to her.
By the way, can I just make a comment about Phil Analytic?
I'm not sure.
Phil's a fairly tough guy, and Lynn can kick his butt.
Okay, with that bit of personal news that we didn't need, Steve.
So I'm SBW almost everywhere, and I don't know what that says about me. I must be earlier than get all the three-letter IDs.
Three-letter acronyms.
What? So this is great. The client that you talk about is the browser, and the cards initiate this communication that goes on. But can you talk about your vision for clients that don't have an info card selector right now? So of course I'm thinking of mobile, and I'm thinking of telephony.
Yeah. So Steve brings up an excellent point. Right now, we're concentrating on the browser because that's low-hanging fruit. And we have a number of ways that we work in the browser. I mentioned to you that we have this browser extension which works with information cards. We're also announcing today that App Builder, our tool for building these applications, has a one-button extension creation tool now. You push a button, you get an IE and a Firefox extension that work with that rule set only. So a single-purpose browser extension, push a button, get a browser extension. No worrying about how to build browser extensions for IE or any of that. We do that automatically. We also have a way for you to generate bookmarklets, which call rule sets, because some applications are better user-initiated, and a bookmarklet is essentially just a way for them to click a button in their browser and get that experience. You are all experiencing another way that we deliver Kynetx today, which is through a endpoint, a proxy endpoint. Right? The way that you're getting that agenda tab that shows up on your pages is essentially the proxy that's serving the Wi-Fi is making a call to our service every time you go to a web page and saying, fire this rule, and that rule happens to be putting that agenda tab up. You also can just plant tags in a website. If you go to my blog, you will see things running. I'll show you an example of that when I talk later today on data. You'll see things running, and that's just because I just plant the tags in my blog. There's no endpoint involved at all other than just the tags in the blog. So there's multiple ways that we work in the web. But beyond the web, we have great expectations. So I mentioned, for example, that Gist is a company that has an Outlook plugin. Our goal is to build plugins for what we term domains. So the web is a domain, mail is a domain. We want to build Thunderbird and Outlook plugins. so that you can write rules which tie together the mail and the browser experience. Steve mentioned mobile. Dave McNamee, where are you? Dave is going to demo later a mobile app, which we won't talk too much about because I'll don't want to steal his thunder. Working in the iPhone browser is a little difficult because they don't allow you to create extensions for the browser. But we can work around that in some cases. Telephony, right? There's Asterisk, there's Ribbit. Steve, I know, is interested in Ribbit. What if you could use rules to help manage calls rather than a kind of single IVR system? Right? You could start tying web and call experiences together through a purpose-based application. We see great opportunity for multiple domains, each with their own endpoints, and Kynetx rules that can actually talk to all of them and tie those experiences together. That's our vision. We started with web because it's the low-hanging fruit. But the vision goes well beyond web. It goes to any client, anywhere, any purpose. We want to tie those together and help you create experiences which do that. That answer your question?
Bill, that's a great segue or an introduction to my talk at 1 o'clock. So
Okay.
I'll go into endpoints in greater detail, talk about all those issues in detail. Next question.
So this actually just goes along with his question. Okay. This actually goes along with his question. I'm kind of new to the whole info card space, but like, what about the browser vendors? Are they going to, is there anything in the horizon that they're going to implement this info card stuff into the browser itself? So that, because right now it's kind of, as far as if I'm going to build a business on this, I have to rely on everyone installing an extension, and yeah, it's possible, but when they hop on, you know, some random computer, or if they don't want to install the extension, and I just don't have that user base. But like, if it's in the browser itself, is it going to be in the browser itself? Is there anything going on there?
There's a lot of talk. As Doc mentioned, we do IIW, the Internet Identity Workshop, semi-annually. We just got done 2 weeks ago, and there's a lot of talk about how selectors and browsers play together. There's people talking about putting these kinds of things in the browser. Now keep in mind, the vision I just gave you about having multiple endpoints and multiple clients, you can't build it in the browser if you want to control other things, if it's too browser specific. We actually believe that there's room for a controller which is separate from the endpoints, but that's probably more than you want to know at this point. I think the real question you have is, how do we get people to download endpoints? How do we get people to download extensions? And I have a couple of answers to that. One is, if they really want to achieve a purpose and you're solving their problem, they will download things. Skype has proven that people will download things, right? I mean, free telephony, yeah, I'm all up for that. Where do I download? Right? It's not about people won't download things, it's about the incentive has to be high enough. And so you have to provide people with the right incentive. Now the other thing that's important is, people like Zego are working with companies like AAA. AAA doesn't have the same kind of problem that I do getting people to download an extension. Because people already have a relationship with AAA, there's already a trust relationship there. Now the reason, one of the reasons we really like the selector idea is because every time somebody goes to the AAA website and installs that card, guess what? You don't have to have them install an extension. Those people already have it. It's the same extension, right? It's a universal extension. So once they've downloaded it once, everybody in this room benefits. So you're all in this together. The more extensions get downloaded, card selector-based extensions, I should point out, the easier it is for everybody in this room to get the next person to sign up. You were just stretching. I thought you had a question.
No, I'm just stretching.
Other questions? Question over here. Do you have a mic for him? Run, Dave, run.
I'm good and loud.
Well, we're videoing, so we want you on the video. Sorry.
The extensions that the browser extensions, do they work the same way the cards would work?
Yes, except they're single purpose. They only work for a single rule set. Dave will talk a lot more about endpoints at 1. Jesse's next.